like it's Michael.
I love you.
I know.
I can go slow ahead. Come on down and chum some of this shit.
What?
Oh, just some scary movie.
You like scary movies?
Uh-huh.
Hell is this?
This is for Brody.
We came, we saw, we kicked its ass.
Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice.
It's showtime.
Have I got
Right,
time?
we're live.
Oh no, we're live! Hi everyone, and welcome to the Nerdy Up North podcast. It's a nerdy podcast that is hosted by Northern Nerds. I am one of your hosts, Sam.
And I am the other host, Paul, who isn't Neil Marshall, unfortunately for Sammy, who now talks to famous people, if you didn't know. And we are joined by the beautiful, the majestic, the effervescent Lee. Look at how beautiful he is. He's not wearing a hat. He's not wearing a hat. Look at the gorgeous.
I never know who you're going to say when there's like more than one person, like other than you and Sammy. It's like, oh, is this going to be Jake or is it me? Who's he going for this time?
No.
It's a beautiful fringe.
Yes, the emo guy. And as always, we are in presence of greatness, of pure perfection himself. The guy that just makes our, like, it doesn't matter who you are, he makes your heart beat that little bit faster when he's on screen. We've got Jake, the beautiful Jake.
Street Fighter.
just as long as he's not dressed up as fucking Sonic, that's all it is. But yes,
That wasn't me.
That's Sonic. That's a completely
Talk to my
different entity.
but yes. So thank you guys in the chat. See, we've got a few people kicking about. We've got a Beth, we've got a Chris, we've got a Dave Hope, we've got a Sarah. Thank you for all joining us this Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening, or depends where, if you're watching us in America, because apparently Americans watch us. I've been looking at the stats, remember. They do use subtitles as well, so our accents must be difficult to understand.
Oh, wow.
Today we will talk about Street Fighter.
The fighter of the street. Not like the picture that Chris put up earlier. It's not Streets of Rage. That would have been that would have been a good movie though. I would still.
Apparently it's in the works. Apparently, but
really?
I kind of doubt it'll ever happen. like many game movies before.
Oh.
Well,
yes.
Before we get into any of the fighting in the streets,
Mm-hmm.
I ask the most important question, and it hasn't been asked for such a long time. But I really need to know how you're doing and what you've been watching.
Everything.
Yeah, someone answered straight away.
What haven't we been watching? That's the question.
We haven't done this for so long, so there's got to be like a long list.
I know. I think I've had the dodgy Fire Stick for like 2 weeks now. I've been watching everything.
Jake's just caught up with the world.
Jake's like, all you people who stream on different services, Jake has beaten you now. You cannot beat the Jake. But yes.
It's pretty much Amazon that I could never be bothered to pay for, and Adult Swim, which is pretty much impossible to watch in the UK.
Definitely,
apart from like YouTube clips and stuff. But yeah, I mean, what have I caught up on? I caught up on Venture Brothers. I watched the movie, which I believe is called "Radiant is the Blood in the Baboon Heart" or something like that. It makes sense by the end of the movie. But that was good to see those guys finally get a win and to be able to do something like higher budget. Because if anyone doesn't know, Venture Brothers is like a long-running cartoon show, but it's made by like two guys who do most of the animation and the voices and never get funding to like finish anything properly. And there's always been massive gaps in the seasons, and that was kind of like the finish of it, really, unless they get like super lucky. But you've kind of got to assume everything's the last thing with Venture Brothers. It's one of those shows I think more like Nerdy Up North folks would like, though, because it's like it is just a big parody of like old Saturday morning cartoons and superheroes all jumbled up together, kind of like Invincible, but a lot sillier and more like more spy jokes than superhero jokes, I guess.
You have
But,
been selling it to us for quite a while. Like, say,
it's just a bit rough though, because it's like we're talking maybe like 2006, 8 sort of Adult Swim. So bad animation, weird voices, but like it hits its stride eventually. I caught up Invincible as well. I watched all season 2 of that.
Are you finished?
Yes.
How good?
Finished. It was really good. You know what I definitely did not expect was all of like the like music montages and stuff. I was like, because obviously you can't get that in the visual comics medium.
No.
But I was like, yeah, this actually does make some scenes, you know, a bit more interesting, especially because there's like, I mean, there's a lot of sadness. I'm not gonna say
what
like
sadness?
season 2 is a happy season.
It's not, and it's a few times it got me right in the feels.
Oh, it's so real, which I know like that's in the comics, like the very real conversations between it's like very real, very adult conversations, but when you're hearing voice actors do it, it just like hits you harder, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. I think Mark's mom's been like the biggest one for me this season. She got me quite a few times, and even Mark's journey has just been like, I can't give too much away because like not everyone's seen it, but Mark's journey, like there was some moments in it where I couldn't see how they could write him to come back.
Yeah. Did one thing was interesting though, because Sammy, you've read like the comics, haven't you? To a certain degree.
To a degree.
Yeah.
I own the compendium #1.
Yeah. So did you get up to that part with Angstrom Levy?
No.
Where he dimension hops him? Because like in the real comics, like he meets Spider-Man, but I know they can't do that, so they've got like a stand-in, like in a stand-in Doc Ock and stuff like that. So it's like, you know.
Yeah.
I was a little bit disappointed, but I know that would be almost impossible, like legally, to figure out. But it's a shame for the fans.
I think they did talk about it with Sony, but Sony being Sony,
so precious with their Spider-Man. It was blatantly obvious, and Anthony knew exactly what it was. But because there's a lot of characters who are based off of or inspired off of, it kind of does fit the theme of Invincible, that you wouldn't have the original.
Can I just ask, like, who is your favorite sort of Invincible weirdo? Because mine's the Immortal, just based solely upon like in the comics they show him to like be Abraham Lincoln. Like at some point in his life he was Abraham Lincoln, and he's just like stayed immortal for the whole time and just doesn't talk about it, and I kind of love that about him.
My favorite, who you haven't actually seen in a lot in the second part of season 2, was the twins. The clone twins?
Yes!
Oh, they're so good.
You're the clone!
I'm the clone!
They're such an interesting idea, though, for characters, because, like, they're just not what you'd expect, because, like, one, they're super smart and super strong at the same time, which you very rarely get. And that whole idea of they can never decide on which one's the clone, and no one can know for sure now because they're too far, like, gone.
Yeah, it's how smart
they could all be clones.
Yeah, it could be.
We are all clones. Everyone's a clone now, but yeah.
It's just how smart they are. Like, they are ridiculously smart. And when they're in, like, fight scenes or with other people, you tend to forget that they probably are the smartest people in the room. And there's
then,
two
like,
of them.
And when you think about it, they're an excellent character to have in your sort of world, because they can solve any problem with like super cloning. Like if a character dies and you regret it and want to bring them back.
No worries, we can bring it.
The thing is though with them as well, because as you said, they are super smart, but as soon as they get out of jail or get out of capture, they go back to doing the same stupid thing that they do. It's like the smartness, but also no common sense behind it as well, and that goes quite well with them.
I mean, you've got to have a thing, and I guess that's their thing. They're always going to go back to what because in their heads they just they just wanted to figure out what it is they're doing at the time, and they're always going to go back to it. I absolutely love them.
So are we going to talk about what we started this conversation on the last podcast we were all on together as well? X-Men 97. We've had 2 episodes since we last
How good superhero stuff been recently? Animated as well.
Thing is, though, when you got good writing and base it on like stuff that's been there throughout the years, and I know you can change and adapt or move it with the times, but just keeping the simple storyline well, but fucking going with it with balls. And we all know certain things isn't gonna stick. They'll find a way, and I know they hinted with certain things, but that fucking scene, like not going to the last episode because the last episode was good.
Sad.
Yeah,
Still heartbreaking. And even the last episode, you get the ripple effects is starting to take place as to what's happened. And my heart was like, how the fuck is he gonna? How is he gonna cope with this news? But that scene, and can we talk about it in its entirety? Like,
if you watch it,
I guess so.
It's hard, I guess.
It's
2
been
weeks
out
now.
for a while. And everyone's
spoilers.
told you it's good if you haven't checked it out yet. I'm sure everyone said.
Spoilers on X-Men coming up. 3, 2, 1. Fucking Gambit, man.
Do the line, Sammy.
Everyone
Do the
dies.
line.
Oh, what does he say? Is it not? Which line is it? Hers or his? Because hers hit me even. Hers hit us even worse.
I got goosebumps for his because you saw the smile. It was a smile that started it because he was like say he was going to attack this Ultra Sentinel thing, and it just basically stuck him in midair, and he was just standing there limp, looking defeated, and like say the robot turned its head away from him, and you saw the smile from Gambit. And that was it. You had me hook, line, and sinker. I was like, "Fucking yes," because you knew what was going to happen because he was still attached, and he just said, "The name's Gambit. Remember it." And then all you saw was like everything that was attached to him start like using Gambit's powers, and just showed you how powerful fucking Gambit actually was as well.
I feel like that's what they've done, like up until that point with Gambit, showed you because there was an amazing fight scene where Wolverine was using his I don't even know what you call his power, to like charge himself up, and I thought that's such a great use of showing like Gambit has fucking something. He's not just who you think from like the original cartoons.
Yeah, it's not just throwing exploding cards. Like there's more. But yeah, like I love that about X-Men. How like Wolverine's always like the combo character, where like like he's got like the fastball special and stuff like that, where like just people like throw him or. I don't know. I'm sure he's done stuff with Nightcrawler before and been like teleported into like into horrible places.
It was so heartbreaking, but it did take away a bit from the death just before it, like 20 seconds before it.
Yeah,
it's true. We had another one as well,
not
and
just
I totally forgot about
everyone.
All the Morlocks gone.
But I totally forgot about that. Come the next episode, because I just kept saying, "Oh God, how is because you get the return of Charles Xavier." How is he going to cope with Gambit? And it's like, how is he going to cope with Magneto?
Yeah.
And I went, oh shit, yeah. Totally, but you're right, it did it completely over that whole scene. And especially Rogue when she said, I can't feel you, sugar. And I was like,
I completely forgot about it until the opening credits came on and Magneto wasn't the first person on the thing.
And they replaced Gambit with Nightcrawler as well, didn't they?
Yeah.
I love how they are changing that opening scene, because in the first episode Magneto's not there, but then in the second episode he is there, and I just love how they've changed that along. But fuck me, watching Storm get her powers back
that was so cool.
I
forgot she was claustrophobic as well. So like when they did that reveal, that was like, oh yeah.
See, I wanted that to last a bit longer because I wanted Storm to like, because I know she was always going to get the powers back. But like say from her losing the powers, it's been 3 episodes.
It was right at the beginning, wasn't it?
Yeah, so maybe because I watched them all and like when they first came out, the ones that released was so.
Because she lost it when they were doing the trial of Magneto, which I think was episode 2.
Yeah.
So,
but no, you're right though. It is moving at comic book speed, which I love. But it's not what we're normally used to for like TV, I don't think.
No, definitely.
Yeah, I was just sick of waiting for this like last episode that was on. It's like there was stuff happened, but I wanted to see like all of the actual effects of the X-Men with Gambit and Magneto.
Not a finale.
Not Storm looking for a cactus in some cave.
Did anyone nerd out at the start of this episode when Ronan, the Ronan was there.
Oh,
I was thinking,
I was fuck yeah.
I was like, that's an accuser, and I thought that's not just an accuser, that's Ronan. I was like, shit.
Yeah, it's weird because I wasn't sure what they were allowed to use and what they weren't, because I thought they might have to just stick with X-Men like that have been in movies and stuff. But then I guess they could touch anyone in their own series as well, because that's their own universe.
Well,
Spider-Man.
Have you seen the spoiler? Not a spoiler, sorry. They did a trailer that for the upcoming episodes.
No, I didn't see that.
Do you want me to tell you? Because there's a certain thing that's happening. Sammy's gonna wet her pants. There is a shield.
Oh,
that
really?
gets dropped in the snow.
Well, yeah, because
is it his shield?
It is his shield, yes.
In the old cartoons, like they had some time hopping stuff and like took Wolverine back to wartime and things like that. They've messed on a few times. Red Skull was in that Spider-Man cartoon.
Does this mean like the likes of Ronan, sorry, being in it? Is it making it canon within the MCU, or is it just
it's multiverse now? So everything can be.
Okay,
so basically, it's like so Deadpool could be popping in just like in Deadpool 3. But
if this is in the same universe, Captain America, I'm sure he's currently in another dimension fighting the Red Skull.
That was Spider-Man. That was a Spider-Man.
But it's connected to the X-Men, isn't it? Because Spider-Man crossed over with X-Men.
He goes to meet the X-Men early on, and they're like, he's like, they won't help him take away his mutant powers, and he's like, screw you guys. He like climbs out the window. But what I love about it is like, have you noticed how like the power scale of everyone is like really ratcheted up? Like it's almost anime from like if you compare it to the MCU.
Yeah.
But I just wonder, like, is it gonna be weird when they do like live action X-Men? Are we gonna be like, where's all the giant whirlwinds and like giant explosions and beams and stuff? Everyone's like back to realistic powers. It shows you what we've lost, really, when you sort of see it side by side.
It is
like when Storm was flying with all like the 6 tornadoes and everything. It was like, yes,
and a hair grew back as well. Like she had the long hair,
and she got like the black crown and stuff.
Yes, and she had a black suit on. Oh, it was so good.
Yeah. It just makes us excited as well, because like if that's what they're hinting, where they're bringing like the Avengers or Cap into it, because I know the rumors are after Secret Wars. It's going to be like a reset button for the MCU, and the big one that's supposed to be going to be leading up to. Like, if the rumors are true, you know what I'm like with me rumors. I like to read shit and I like to spoil shit.
They're mostly true though.
He was wrong on Sinister.
Yes.
Sorry.
It's fine. I'll take that one.
Sorry.
But I'm very. If they are going to go with it, they're supposed to be going for X-Men versus the Avengers. That was supposed to be going to be from
I love that comic book.
Me too.
Especially when you see how much of a dick Scott Summers starts becoming as well. Like,
it was Phoenix Force though, wasn't it? It's like that possessed everybody. But I don't know if they're gonna bother with that stuff. They might just do like, who are you? I don't know, who are you?
To be
now
fair,
we have to fight.
I would like them to stay away from Phoenix Force for a long time in the MCU, because it's never worked in any of the movies that they've done.
The thing is, though, with Jean Grey, you don't need to rely on that.
No.
She is interested in herself.
Yeah. You need a couple of movies behind her before it makes sense to possess her.
Exactly, you need to invest in her first before you give a shit that she's actually being possessed. It's such an easy thing to chuck at fans because it's like, you know, everyone fucking loves that aspect of it, but we don't really need it. Jean's fine.
I think everyone loves everyone
Yes.
loves like a dark transformation, don't they? They always like rush to do that. That's why they always like rush Venom and like
Just take your time.
Look at the mess we're in.
Yeah, just take your time. just like say slowly.
Now
Especially with
we've
these
got a
characters.
Venom where people are like, I like the Venom character. Like, oh, what do you like about it? He eats heads, and and he makes jokes, and I'm like,
oh,
okay. So what about the whole link to Spider-Man? Like, we don't care. Like, why does his suit look like that then? Huh?
Explain it to me. Don't say moving magic either as well.
It's a dark reflection of Spider-Man, you idiots. That's what it's supposed to be anyway.
Yeah.
Is it really?
No, that's correct. It's supposed to be the anti-Spider-Man type thing, because Spider-Man rejects him, so he kind of gets like gets really annoyed. And
the symbiote wouldn't know what the hell a super suit is. It wouldn't make someone in a suit with a logo on its chest if it hadn't been like attached to Peter.
Do you think we're going to get those, like say the Tom Holland symbiote suit in Secret Wars? Or do you think they're going to go there?
I think they kind of have to. Or do you think they'll do like a stupid like joke about it?
Well, the rumors are that
Tom Holland, want Andrew Garfield.
Well, the rumors are
Andrew Garfield deserves it.
In Secret Wars, the three main characters in it is going to be Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool, and Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man.
And the saying is it that the thing where Tom Holland's Spider-Man is going to be like the central character, like the linchpin of the universe? Because they've started talking about that stuff, haven't they? Like where if you kill Deadpool, it destroys Deadpool's like movie universe, and like every multiverse has like a pivotal character. Like I'm sure they've started talking about that weird stuff.
I am so lost with Marvel right now. I don't even know where we're at.
They mentioned it in Strange, Doctor Strange. It was a Nexus event. That's what they called the characters. Was a Nexus event, I believe.
I think in the trailer of Deadpool that they brought out, where it was like where the sort of the TVA pulls Deadpool out of like time, don't they? And tell him to like
watch what it like all the shit because it's supposed to got videos of him and Thor broing out and stuff like that. But yes, I am excited. It's like
X-Men's good. We'll always have X-Men 97 to watch.
That's true. That is
the movies keep going weird.
But yes. Also, just before we start talking about the film that we are going to be talking I watched a very good movie last night that has been getting a lot of mixed reviews. It's probably going to be a Marmite movie. You're either going to love it or you hate it. It's got no middle ground. Late Night with the Devil. It is very much on the same phase of Ghostwatch. So if you've watched like the BBC mockumentary in Ghostwatch, and if you enjoyed it, it's like that but dialed up to 11. Like it's literally starts off slow and intense. The characters are quite engaging, but it's very 70s, like everything, like even like they've done the aspect ratio on the screen as a 70s film.
That means Goodwill's gonna love it.
I've heard a lot of mixed reviews of it, and I said this to you last night that it's like people are saying the first half shite, the second half's brilliant, but you know me, I'm going to end up loving it anyway. It just gives it. It's like when X came out, because it was set in a time period of what I like movies that I love. I feel like I'm gonna enjoy it, and I love the main guy as well, who's in it, and I cannot pronounce his surname for the life of us.
No, it very much had Exorcist vibes crossed between Ghostwatch. So take that as much as you want. Ghostwatch is one of the stupidest things you'll ever watch now, but back in the day, it was the scariest thing you'll ever see.
I screamed the house down when we watched it.
Yes.
That was Craig Charles's fault for jumping out of a cupboard or whatever.
It didn't help that someone kept going, "What's that?"
You should have told them when we were there on Saturday, Sammy. You should have said, "You scared me in Ghostwatch."
I wonder if anyone ever asks him about Ghostwatch.
I bet he would talk about it. Tell you what, I'm going to send him a message now saying, Sammy wants to talk to you about Ghostwatch. Can you come on the podcast?
No Red Dwarf whatsoever.
I'm still trying to get over what happened yesterday. No, just purely Ghostwatch.
Yeah. And Jake wants to talk to you about Robot Wars.
And
what was Chaos 2 really like?
And Leadus wants to talk to you about cocaine, but that's another story. But yes.
Before we move on though, Lee, have you been watching anything, Lee?
Yes, but I'm only 2 episodes into Fallout.
Me too.
And it's amazing.
I'm finished.
Jake, you as well?
I'm 2 episodes in. I didn't like it as much as everyone else, I think, but I'm digging in and I'm giving it like a good try.
Yeah.
Just stick with it, man. Just give it a good old college try.
Yeah, because I couldn't get any information out of you guys. I was like, why is it good though? Because I didn't like the first one, and everyone's like, it's amazing.
I could tell you, but then I would be telling you the whole thing. Spoilers. And I don't. Yeah, exactly. I've seen it. We finished it on Monday. The whole from episode 4 up to the close.
An independent person said if I get to the end of episode 3 and still don't like it, then it's probably not going to change. But
right. I agree.
I'm struggling at the moment with it as well. I'm like Jake. I'm like everyone's telling us I should be loving this. It's just like fair enough. There's a few good things, like episode 2 with the giant rat. I thought that was fucking amazing, but that's all I've enjoyed so far.
What
rat?
What I don't like is
Was
like
it a
it's
rat?
the music.
No.
It's
Oh, the
I think it
cockroach.
was a cockroach. Sorry,
Right.
but I don't like music things because it's like it's really like overplayed. But in my, you know, like the whole like it's jaunty 40s music, like and horrible things happen on screen. It's overplayed in horror as well, though. So like it's not. I should be used to it by now. I don't know why it's like making me cringe. But then I'm thinking, this is some people's first Fallout. Like I can't.
Yeah.
They can't be robbed of that experience. But when I play the games, I do not listen to the radio. I just sort of wander around with like, you know, the moody atmosphere and then talk to the funny characters. And that's my like, you know, juxtaposition.
I think, because so when you play the game, you're in control. You can move around and do everything that you want in the thing. Where you're kind of being controlled and made to go on this mission. So maybe if you're like a fan of the games, you're like, no, I don't want to do this. Stop making me do this.
I'm a bit like that, because like Fallout's like your story. There's no your main character until 4 didn't talk or anything. But yeah, I'm gonna keep going. I'm not paying Amazon for it, so I'm not losing anything.
Chris, that guy is in episode 2, so we have seen that. He's saying, "Wait till you see the guy that has sex with the chickens."
Yeah, that was in the second one.
He's actually in it. He's actually in it again later on.
I don't want to see more of the chicken fucker.
No, you don't. Yeah, I'll spoil that for you guys. You don't get to see that, so it's all right. But we watched the first 3 episodes.
Well, I'm not watching anymore now.
Oh, darn it!
He was a bit like Lee when you think about it, with his whole like
chicken fucker.
With these gimmicks.
We've all seen that.
So, Sammy, do you want to do the disclaimer before we start talking about Lee and his gimmicks?
Yeah, that'd be a good idea. Right. Everything discussed in today's episode is our opinions and our opinions alone. If you'd like to discuss anything from today's episode, please come and join us on the Discord, the Facebook, or the comment section where we can have an open discussion. What we won't have, though, is anyone coming for us and telling us our opinions are wrong. We can all agree to disagree in fandom, so let's keep it fun, keep it kind, and keep the toxic behaviour out. Nerdism.
Sorry, I couldn't help myself there.
Wow.
So yes,
words.
It's like Blanca's in the room with us.
I have no words right now.
So yes,
that was really impressive how you managed to keep that going. By the way,
I thought to myself, if I keep looking up, I'll stop. But I'm going to say it all the way through.
To be fair though, Sammy doesn't normally look up when she says the disclaimer. She normally just looks down. So that's why I thought I'd get away with it. I thought
you were trying to do the jump scare.
Every time I do the disclaimer, I end up looking down. I'm not reading from anything. I don't know why. I just always look down.
Are we checking out Lee's widow's peak here?
I was going to say,
you see the green still though.
Yeah, you can still see you a bit green.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
and it's like still in my beard and everything, and my eyebrows a little bit green tinged. It's
you do some weird shit here, son.
Are you working from home this week?
He's working from home.
Yes, but I still have to take Laura to school.
Yes.
The green dad.
So yes, we are talking about the movie that tried to capitalize on the game to movie franchise phase that was the 90s.
That's such a good transition from like Fallout to this.
Yes.
Oh, yeah,
I didn't really connect the dots there.
To be fair, though, I was hoping we were talking about mutations. I was going to put the picture of Lee up then. I was like, no, I'll not ship you load just yet. I'll keep it.
You'll do it while I'm talking.
Yes.
Well, before we get into it, as always, I've got the taglines. Some interesting ones. So the first one is the ultimate battle.
Right.
No, it isn't.
It gets better, Jake. Adventure is the name of the game.
Oh, is it Brucey Forsyth now going again?
Yeah.
Adventure Island was a different game.
This one's the ultimate challenge begins this Christmas in theaters everywhere.
It was a Christmas movie.
Yeah, and then the fight to save the world begins in 12/23/94.
Oh.
We're not Americans, so for us English, that was the 23rd of December, 94.
Whoa.
Yes.
Oh yeah, Americans like to do those like Christmas movies, don't they?
get ready for the ultimate street fight.
I mean, that's okay, but it doesn't happen in the movie.
No.
Are you ready? The next one. This Christmas, shop early. The streets won't be safe.
Oh, threatening.
The ultimate battle is about to begin. The next one.
Why was it not safe? Was it because Van Damme was on a coke binged, like,
Green
allegedly?
Well, you can explain the next one is the problem.
Yeah.
The next one is the solution.
Oh no.
And the last one is the fight to save the world is on.
Oh, so do you think the problem solution ones were those like singular posters? So it'll be like Bison on one and then like Van Damme on the other.
Possibly, yeah.
And like they'd be like half face like next to each other.
That makes a lot more sense than me just reading it out.
No, I might have seen that with my own eyes as a child. You never know.
To be fair, even with context, it's still shit. But let's be honest.
Yeah.
Like I say, as Jake said earlier, I watched this on the Dodgy Box, and the Dodgy Box app I use actually gives the film a rating as well.
What was that rating?
So this is because normally it's quite fair because everyone, it's basically the people who
normally
view
it's like a 4, isn't it? Like for everything.
Depends what you watch, but Street Fighter was out of 10, 4.6. Dodgy box, dodgy up north, dodgy box rating.
That's generous.
So the people who have watched Street Fighter on this dodgy stick, like or on the app, I've rated this movie 4.6.
No,
yes.
No, like, oh no, no.
Not even the dregs of society who watch pirated movies care about it. No, but this is a weird one for me because as a child I was very excited to try and see this movie. My dad tried to take me to see this movie, but against all common sense, I would say, they decided to get this a 15 certificate. Which, when you think about it, it doesn't really use anything that would get it up to that, apart from, I guess, shooting and blood, maybe just like, you know, like rocketed them past the 12.
I think probably the threat of mass genocide, possibly, that could have been. But still, they could
have toned it down, though. Like, they should have got this down to a PG or a 12. But anyway, so we went to the cinema because my dad would always at least try to get us past the person at the cinema.
Go Jake Stars.
And I had to end up seeing the Macaulay Culkin Richie Rich film, I believe.
Wow, what a compromise.
Worse than Street Fighter.
It's awful. And nobody remembers it, and I don't remember anything.
I remember it. I remember the dog.
I just remember Mount Richmore or something like that. Is it?
Yeah, and some kind of roller coaster
I've never
in his
seen
backyard.
it. No, that can't be real.
I had the dad who was the dad in Lost Boys in it.
It's in the same universe.
Richie Rich's dad was the bad guy in Lost Boys.
The guy from Gilmore Girls.
Yes.
So because this was the 90s as well.
I thought it was the guy from Jumanji, the hunter guy. Is it not him?
No. He was the butler.
I don't know what I'm thinking of.
He was the butler in it.
But what I was going to say is because this was the 90s and I didn't get to see this at the movies, I then went pretty much like 10 more years without being able to see it until I randomly like stumbled upon a DVD, because that's just how it worked back in those days. Like I couldn't look it up on Netflix in like 2 years time, and videotapes were like what, 10 quid, 12 quid.
They weren't cheap back in the day as well. If you got X Rentals was 25.
Exactly. So like there was no way for a child to see this movie, and I don't know, I wasn't reading Radio Times looking for it every year. Like
when will it be released? When will you let me see this? I was lucky enough to
didn't get to see it until HMB was a thing. But I was probably in my rebellious, like bad movies are cool, man kind of phase. Like watching shite like Biodome. That was another one.
I was actually lucky enough to see this at the cinema. I got in.
Paul.
Yes.
Wow.
So I went down. I think might be in the same time or not too long after or before
We might have been in the same cube hall.
Possibly seeing it. I think Judge Dredd, the Stallone one, came out at the same time, or around about the same time.
What a film!
You can't talk about good films, Lee. Sorry.
But yeah, I remember seeing that. And just been really excited because, let's be honest, the trailer actually made this look quite interesting. You thought it was going to be like loads of battles and loads of interesting fights, but what we got was this pretend kind of war film, which did not suit the theme of Street Fighter at all. They should have just done a little bit like Mortal Kombat did and just had like some kind of tournament, because then you would have got all the characters and got the interest. One thing I will give it to, the logo is mint.
The skull logo, yeah.
For the Street Fighter, when it comes up, like how they changed it and made it all shiny in 3D. It looked,
okay.
It looked like, say, really well done. The cast wasn't actually bad. They had actually a decent cast.
I'm not saying this just to pick on Beth, but Kylie was not a good choice. She looked the part, but
no. She was not cast by choice, though. She had to be put in because they filmed the indoor scenes in Australia. So she's like the union, like there needs to be an Australian on the cast, like in order for you to be able to film here.
And it probably didn't hurt that she was having an affair with Jean-Claude Van Damme. So
I think that came afterwards. I think he settled himself into the cast and was like, Ming-Na Wen's off limits.
I mean, can you blame us? Can you blame us seeing this guy's like having $10,000 worth of cocaine a day and showing up to set drunk every day and going,
I can't believe that's a genuine fact.
How fucking crazy how crazy did Jean-Claude Van Damme look in this film? Like everything he was in, it was just like manic. It was just like
it's either manic or he looks like he's like, about to pass out, which is probably like true from like exhaustion and like.
The thing is, though, they didn't even use the two main characters of who you would expect from a Street Fighter movie. Yeah. You would expect Ken and Ryu. That's what you as a Street Fighter fan. They didn't use them. They went with Guile. Okay. He is not a likable character. No. He was horrible. And the
Van Damme's not a likable person.
As I said, they've got Guile, who's an American. And they've got
played by
Van Damme, who is clearly not American, and he's got this American tattoo that, oh my word!
The dialogue was fucking abysmal. The whole, what was it? You dickhead. Who the fuck would say that in war?
Bison's ass so hard the next Bison wannabe's gonna feel it. That's a good line.
Wowza.
The dialogue was terrible, but there is some of the best lines in cinematic history, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's a bold statement.
But are they all M. Bison lines, though? Is that what?
Well, yeah. Some of his lines were amazing.
I can't say it. Zachary kind of tries to save the film in ways.
The thing is, though, with Raul Julius, is it Raul Julius? Am I saying that correct?
Yes. Thumbs up, guys.
So
I did like when I was a kid. I did think it was funny when he like turned his thumb round at the end and taught him how to do thumbs up.
I was trying to see if I was like the special one, but I'm not. No, but Raul Julius is absolutely phenomenal in this movie, and I know he was incredibly sick, terminally sick,
weeks
while
away,
they were doing this. Yeah, and he did it for his kids. Because his kids were huge Street Fighters fans and he wanted something to leave behind that, he thought his kids would enjoy. But me and Ant were talking about this last night. He was like, isn't it a shame in a way that it's kind of like the last thing he ever did was this? And it's like, no, because he really showed what acting is. Mm-hmm. This film is not, the bad acting in it doesn't make him look good. Mm-hmm. He is just that fucking good.
Yeah,
it's like when we were talking about Danny DeVito, like given those really stupid, like scripted penguin lines, but made it totally just like believable, even though when you like see them on paper, it's absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, like Raul Julia is the same kind of guy where he's an actor first and foremost. If you give him a script, he's gonna act the script. He's not gonna be like phoning it in like Van Damme being like, I don't know, I'm just gonna party. But like, it's a really sad story because apparently, like on set as well, he was like ill and just like sat in a chair and like wasting away effectively. But as soon as they said like action, he would like spring to life. And I think that's what got most people through the filming, was because they had him to like bounce off like most of the time.
He had his family with him there on set as well, and their last memories of him doing his work will be Van Damme being an absolute bellend.
Yeah.
But I hope it's not. I hope it's seeing the fact that, you know, their dad, in the face of everything, still managed to give a performance of his lifetime, because he
really
was fucking phenomenal in it.
It makes me wish he got to be in more like, because like I only knew him from like Adam's Family and this. It makes me wish like he was more of a like mainstay, like, you know, like childhood movies, because like how many like good bad guys could he have played that we had like, you know, weird stock characters in like random action movies and stuff like that.
I would love to have seen him up against Arnie, like, or Stallone type thing. That would have been something quite interesting to see. Because
Van Damme's like a nuts concept. Like he is basically like Arnie 2, like they tried again, and like Arnold can somehow pull it off. Like I don't mind when they pretend Arnold's American, because I'm like, maybe he moved here, maybe that's his parents' accent type of thing. I don't know what it is about Van Damme though. I just hate looking at him.
He's just not he wasn't a likable character, not a likable person. There's just I wasn't interested in him at all. The Ken and Ryu part, oh my god,
it was so disappointing as a kid.
You might as well have just left it out.
Can we just talk about the introduction to the characters as well? Because there's one thing that this film does a little bit strange. It kind of fires through them as like at rocket pace. It's like, look, there's E Honda, there's Balrog, there's Saget. There's all these different characters just like thrown at you, like to the point it overwhelms you in a way, because you don't kind of, because you like to. I know there's films that do things on purpose to make you feel uncomfortable or not keep you on edge, but this kind of just overwhelms you with different things happening at the same time that you can't sit there and relax and go, oh, what's happening? You're trying to think.
Apparently that was another thing. It came from the game company Capcom. They were like, we want all the characters in, because I think originally they were going to only have 7.
Right.
And I think that's like executive meddling that's made it feel like that, because they probably felt like, oh no, we have to cram everyone in. But like the problem with it is like Paul, you're right, and it comes to a head with that Vega thing where it's like, we're about to have, you know, a cage brawl, like an underground fight pit cage brawl with Vega, who is like perfectly, you know, dressed up in his exact outfit. Then they just have Guile slam through the wall and arrest everyone because they're outside of curfew, and I'm like, you're robbing us of like the actual thing we wanted to watch.
It's the way he gets out of the tank and he just looks at everyone with like without anyone saying about, you're all under arrest.
And you know how we're supposed to infer that is by listening to the fake Robin Williams "Good Morning Vietnam" person on the radio, which is like it's like a recurring joke for some reason, and we're supposed to like listen to that and be like, oh, it says that all Shadowloo citizens are under curfew. Like that's supposed to be the explanation, but it just seems like he breaks through a wall for no reason and tries to arrest an entire club.
Yeah,
because the only way for me this film would have worked, the way that like they planned it out, is if they paced it a little bit better, as you said, had the fights in that you wanted to do, but not
any
all,
fights,
but not all at the same time, because the fights that you get, everything happens at the end at the same time. So again, you're overwhelmed with like what's going on, so you don't care as much. So you should be getting excited when E Honda and like say Zach Reeves squaring off, but it's kind of like, oh, that's over with by doing like a quick cut or moving on to this point, and it's kind of, then when like
they do that fake Godzilla thing, which is pretty funny.
I knew you would have loved that bit. As soon as I saw that, I was good. Jake's going to be living for this element just for that part.
What was Wednesday's Ramblecast about? Tekken. Yes, right.
Street Fighter.
I am leading into somewhere with this. On that episode, you were talking about how in the film they should have just skipped the first one, and just went right with starting from here. Just throw a few references in. I think they've pretty much done that with Street Fighter as well, because all of the characters are from Street Fighter 2. Aren't they?
Yeah. But nobody remembers Street Fighter 1. Nobody remembers Street Fighter 1.
And I think like it would have been shit if they picked Street Fighter 1 because nobody knows any of the characters from that.
No.
Like, they haven't been in any more games since then. And everyone's so colourful as well, and they've got all of the
They are very
outfits
colourful. They are
perfect.
very colourful.
Oh, fuck's sake.
Oh my god, Blanca.
You say fuck's sake, but you did that and said that.
You were going to get dressed up like that till we told you not to.
But
Are you
even
gonna do
though,
this as well?
even though we don't get all of the fights that we want, some of it is satisfying where it's like you're just getting to see your characters on the screen of like, oh, that is a perfect like capture of one of my favorite characters, like Bison dressed in his actual outfit from the game, instead of nowadays they go, oh no, that doesn't look realistic. Nobody would wear that. I mean, I would
That's
dress
true.
like a Bison.
We
every
know,
day if I
we
could.
know you would.
Did you not think, though, with them going to the degree that they did to try and capture every single character's like almost likeness from the game, that they pushed it too far? Like Dalsim with the chain around his neck instead of the skulls and stuff like that.
I'm sorry, but
He does
I
not
love...
look like Dalsim.
No, he does not. And I love that character. And I didn't hear yoga once.
No, he just ends up bald at the end because I guess the lab fire burned his hair and
He
clothes
is like a
off.
respected Indian actor as well. And
Yeah.
this
You
is
know
like
what?
his first like move over to America, and then he never came back.
Yeah, Sagat as well. He's
yeah.
like, Wes Studi's like actually a really good actor and like and stuff, and he's just given like nothing to work with in this movie.
No,
I mean,
not a thing.
He's not really the right size for Sagat, but like, imposing bad guy, he's fine, but he's just given nothing, and you can kind of see it in his face. Like
Yeah.
he's got nothing to work with.
He looks so done. I wish they'd went a bit over the top with Van Damme's hair. I think that
Yeah,
would
they
have
should have
been
made that
really
bigger.
cool.
They should have made that
Yeah.
bigger.
They should have
Surely
gone
he
over
was
the
on
top.
enough drugs to be like talked into that very easily. Like, come on.
Did he
Put
have
some
a lot
Brilla
of
cream in there?
Did he have a lot of control over this film, more than probably what he should have had?
Kind of. He's apparently worth a fourth of the movie's budget. Like they spent like a quarter of the entire movie budget on him. So he probably thought he was like hot shit.
The director didn't get paid for this.
Yeah,
and he should not. There was no direction in this movie.
He had to put all of his. I think Van Damme did it. To be fair, I honestly think the way that this movie was being played out was that he was making all the decisions. Everything went through him, and the director just had to say action.
Kind of like a Hulk Hogan type vibe.
Possibly.
Yeah,
wasn't
absolutely.
Kylie behind the scenes helping out with stuff like paying for people to have like meals and like go on like stay in a nice place and
because
like,
the money
have a
went to
pool
him
and things like that. Yeah, so I suppose it was good having Kylie there for the rest of the cast.
She wasn't. When Kylie's not your worst thing in the movie, then something's got to be said.
So let's have a brief conversation about the plot.
What plot?
So the premise,
it's very James Bond, which is weird.
It was very much basically like Moha, like Dr. Evil type thing. I want $20 billion for these
Ticking
hostages.
You get an immediate 72-hour ticking clock, which is fine. That's a good way to keep your movie rolling along, but they do very little to make us care about like the stakes or the hostages or anything. You know, like how in movies where you have a hostage situation, one of the hostages is usually a character, so that you can be like, oh, you get some scenes in there and you can feel sorry for them. In this, it's just like, I don't know, that we've put some guys in a pit and
they're just,
you're not
there.
You're not going to see them for a while.
I want to know what, like as you said, what these guys were to be worth $20 billion. Because let's be honest, most governments in the world wouldn't pay $20 billion for anyone.
To build Bisonopolis.
Yeah. I did again. Like most things when Bison was on screen, I did enjoy. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, me too.
I love the like when he's like standing above and he's got these American shoulders saying, "You've travelled all across the world to fight me, so why don't you fight me?" And he's just taking them out with ease.
He just breaks the necks, doesn't he? Like from a standing position.
That's something that like M. Bison in the game would have done. So I kind of related and quite liked that aspect. I wanted to see.
And there is like you get like a couple of frames where it's like M. Bison and a guy squaring up to each other, but it's just a random no-name guy.
Yeah,
and then Guile totally drops his friend Lee in it, and is like, he's like, we're coming to get you, and then he's like, Bison's immediately like looking at his hostages, like, oh, your name is the name he said,
but he says,
the monster laboratory.
But I think he says, I'm coming to get you, Charlie, and he's like, because he calls him
He's
Charlie,
like,
and he looks at the
Carlos.
thing, and it's got Carlos Blanca, Charles, ha, it's you.
Yeah.
Well, it's like, wait there, where did you get Charles from in that?
Yeah.
Oh.
He was right though.
He was, but I like. He must have some Derek Acora type of premonitions to get
straight to the monster lab with him as
Yes.
well. Like no ifs, ands, or buts.
It's like, this could be you, but yes, let's turn him into the ultimate weapon. But again, I did like that aspect where they're changing Carlos into Blanca. They've done the whole Clockwork Orange thing, put a thing on his eyes and make him watch abusive stuff to warp his mind.
I tell you what, that was hilarious when like Bison sees it and he's like, this is just educational material. Why is he having a weird reaction? And he's just like, not everyone's a psychopath like you.
It's the look he gives them as well. You what?
But no, this was right in my wheelhouse of like 90s mutant, like, you know, like transformation sequences. Like, I loved all this as a kid. It's just like, I liked it when when you see something cool at the end, you know, like in Ninja Turtles, you at least get like Toka and Razar at the end of this process. But in this, it's just like, a green man
with orange hair.
There's nothing wrong with a green man.
Just a green man.
Lee Blanca.
Do you know what? Though? Lee's looks actually better. Like
there's more life in his eyes.
There is, because the makeup on that, man.
To be fair though,
Lee
Lee looks like a fucking angry leprechaun. If you do another leprechaun movie, and like if you get Garth and Wayne here, they'll be like, I'm the leprechaun. I'm the leprechaun.
But yeah,
the
like
prosthetics in that head is just ridiculous.
Sammy, you're right. It's literally just like they basically just put caveman makeup on him, you know, like the cheapest you could get.
Aren't you
like
meant to be
lumpy
like
forehead?
But aren't you meant to be enhancing him? He's meant to be like the ultimate thing, and you're bringing him back to the Stone Age with the hair as well. It makes no goddamn sense.
And all we saw was his bite attack. We didn't see his electricity. We didn't see his cannonball. All we saw was his bite attack, which was disappointing.
I think because his face makeup would have fell off if he moved.
Let's be fair. There was not one Hadouken in this movie.
There was.
There was, yes.
There was.
What?
There was,
He
yeah.
didn't do the energy blast, but he does. He hits him like that.
And there's a
but
flash.
does he see it?
No, but there's a flash.
That's what I was expecting. I wanted him to see it.
Yeah, because he hits him like that and it lights up.
One thing I will say about that is because this is always going to get compared to Mortal Kombat, and they do the same thing in the Mortal Kombat movie. And as a kid, I was as disappointed in Mortal Kombat that they didn't do a fireball, because Liu Kang does the same thing where he just goes like, and there's like a little zap of energy. It's like, no, Liu Kang is supposed to shoot a dragon head like out.
But Mortal Kombat had an amazing soundtrack song, so
it did.
It wins.
From the
and to be fair, with
it's so good they played it all the way through.
They didn't need to, but that's the thing. The thing is, and again, Beth's going to hate me as well now, Lee. With having Kylie on board, you would expect him to at least have a decent soundtrack for this movie. The music in this movie was awful. Like literally, it doesn't set the tone for anything. Like there's a bit one where there's like playing some music, and you're like, someone just put the radio on in my room just for some random ass songs. It doesn't even set the mood at all.
Also, like, this is coming from like a video game with one of the greatest soundtracks of all time, and they couldn't even be bothered to like get the actual music tracks. Like anything would have been better than nothing.
The thing is, they probably didn't have the money to do it, because it all went on Van Damme. Like, I could not believe I was reading on IMDb the amount of money that went into him.
Yeah.
The rumors are it was 10,000 a week or a day, was it?
Yeah. Sorry, Paul, I'm still trying to get past the fact you're saying with Kylie in the film, it should have had a better soundtrack. Like, they would have had, like, Jean-Claude Van Damme riding his boat down towards Bison's base to, come on, baby, do the look of
Let's be honest, though.
Game over.
I'm not the biggest Kylie's fan, but she has done some banging songs throughout the years, and she always has reinvented herself to stay relevant. So give her a due. I'm not going to let you slag Kylie off as much as you want to.
Wasn't she in Neighbours at this point, though?
Possibly.
No, Neighbours was like early 80s, wasn't it? Scott and Charlene?
I don't know. I was watching it in the 90s.
80s,
I mean, we got it later, didn't we?
Hung on.
Yeah, I think she'd done the locomotion like before this, but I still think we would have got better music if Kylie had something to say with the music. But yeah, like just the choices in this movie was just fucking weird. Like even the end fight with Bison, you got Guile doing his somersault kick, and
he just swings Raul Julia around on like one of those rigs. He holds his hands out,
and then we get some Windows 98 graphics where Bison's going like flatlining, even though I don't know what he's flatlining against, and then it's like putting a gif of a needle to give him an injection, and he's like, well, who's injecting him? Is it just this gift that's bringing him back to life? Like
he gets like defribbed by his suit, doesn't he? It zaps him.
Yeah.
And then he's like, no, the electromagnetism that levitates my chair.
It's amazing.
It's me.
It's amazing what electricity does in this movie, man. This really
Plus, like,
is.
in the games, which I know they're not really following the law, but they do follow some of the law, like about like Shadowloo being like a sort of off-brand fake country. Like M. Bison has what is called psycho power, which I guess is just like the energy of being a massive dictator psychopath, and it's just like, you know, blue lightning energy, and it's like that's inside of him. Like all the characters have weird power, that's his. And they decided to be like, no, he has to get zapped by the computer panels, and then his shoes levitate him. It's like, okay.
I like that we've got the flying across the suit.
Yeah, he does. That's called the Psycho Crusher because of the aforementioned power.
I would have liked to have seen the stomp though. I would have think that would have been quite interesting to see. But it does give certain characters time to shine as well. Like Chung-Li in this film.
No, I don't. I can't.
Is interesting, but her fight with them Bison, she does like pretty much beat him until the boys come and spoil the fun.
But this is my whole problem with this film. They had two strong female characters that they did not allow to be them strong female characters, because guess what? Every time they had a chance to do something, there's a man coming behind him to save the day. So don't you worry your little pretty head. And
but she definitely beat M. Bison though, didn't she?
She was getting the better of him. Before they came and ruined it. And that end bit where he is looking her from behind to her eyes and is like, only if you wear that dress, I would have nutted him.
Was there a point in the movie where you actually did check out? Because there was one point for me where
right in the middle, I did my shopping.
I remember, like watching it back today. Normally, I know I'm a dick when it comes to movies, and I don't like slating them too much. But there was I felt my eyes roll in the back of my head. It was during the prison escape. And it was done the whole Van Damme Giles being killed, and you're like, fuck off, that's not going to happen. But then what happened was Chung-Li was standing next to the escape vehicle, and instead of just placing the tracking beacon on it, she'd done the most weirdest, and like where you would get spotted, where she'd done a full army roll to the side, wasn't even going near it, flipped the tracking beacon out like this, and it landed. It was like, that's the most obvious, and like, because everyone must be watching this vehicle fly away, and she's like, there must be why is this woman just done a backflip next to it and thrown something on? It was the most obvious thing I've ever seen. It was like, these are bad.
They were clearly like, Ming, can you do some cool moves for us? Because this scene's really lacking. She was like, I guess I can do like a flip.
But it was almost as bad as like the Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, when they're breaking into the studio just by whistling. They were just going,
yeah.
They might as well have just done that.
I think Jake's just hit the nail on the head with that though, where they're saying like, this scene's a bit lacking. Can you do something mental. And I think they've done that all the way through, because there's not one bit of this film where you do look away and just go, oh, this is...
Oh yeah,
getting a bit boring."
remember just before the set up the whole shooting thing, and that guy runs in to try and assassinate Guile, and he just like does a spin kick and he like lands on the table. Like, again, that's just like so out of left field, but it's just so Van Damme can do like one cool move and they can like, you know, they can put it in the trailer probably.
And also, we don't have to sit through a whole like 5-minute board meeting of Van Damme talking about raping
Oh,
his base,
Jesus
'cause
Christ,
we
man.
wouldn't have wanted to watch that.
Did you guys get excited though, like a little bit later when like the snooty guy from Ace Ventura showed up? You know, like
Simon
like-
Cowell.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I was like, yes, he's here.
He's going to bring
Yes.
something in, but yeah.
Yeah, and then he
But he
comes to
brought
try and shut
absolutely
Guile
nothing.
down.
Bro, I says, oh my God, I can't even believe Simon Cowell was in this.
And they brought the joke at the end. Was like, oh yes, I've managed to talk all the army out. Everyone stayed, and there was only just basically a guy and a cat, and that was basically left in the left behind. But
God.
wow,
I must admit, there was a couple of bits that did make me chuckle.
Yeah, there's a couple of funny bits, but yeah, what did you like?
It was one of them was one's just left me head, but the other one which really made us laugh was when Bison's talking to, is it DJ?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And he's going, yes, DJ, now our plan can come into place. We're going to do X, Y, and Z. And you can see DJ going, fuck this. And just like kind of scoots his way backwards while Bison's still talking away to him.
Again, DJ is a legit character in the game, but not one of the well-known ones until more recently. The moment that I think is the actual funniest is when they like roll that truck down to blow them up in the camp.
I've been waiting for you to tell this joke.
Yeah. So like the joke is, it's like Chun-Li on the video being like, you know, oh, we've just, you know, we've done one over on you, and now we're gonna leave with all of your guns or whatever. Because there's like a gun running subplot that doesn't really go anywhere.
No. And
yeah, like she shows the van rolling towards their tent, and then Zangief's like, "Quick, change the channel." The van doesn't get them. That's a good joke for a stupid.
There's the guy from Batman, from the Max Shrek's son,
the bad man that we found out.
The absolute dickhead.
Yes, him. He did have a funny line when they were like, when DJ was like, "Look at all I got paid. Look at all this money I got paid," and he went, "You got paid?" I was like, you didn't, dickhead.
Oh, bless me. You thought he was like, he's good. We're the bad guys.
Did that man get paid for whipping E Honda so much? There was also a Bison henchman that just looks like Wario, who is no character, but it was a guy with a big mustache. He was like in the lab scenes a lot. Like he threatened the doctor, like when he was like having a peek at the sacks of mutagen steroids. Yeah, and he's like, "Get back to your desk."
I know there's a lot of things to rip apart on this film, but what I gotta say, the costumes were fantastic.
It makes you feel bad for all the work that goes into like stuff like that, doesn't it?
It does, because it just feels a little bit wasted. I don't know if I remember seeing if Ryu or Ken actually wore their colors. On screen.
They did get geese, but they were like Bison ones. They got when they got took into like
the badge off as well.
It didn't feel forced either, like with the Mario Brothers, when they just go, "Oh, let's put on some plumbing gear and dungarees for no reason." When they could have stayed in the normal clothes. But in this, at least they go, "Oh, well, you're going to join our karate academy." They gave a reason behind the costume change.
I can't believe you just managed to mix them two together.
The thing I did actually love about it as well, like, and again, it was like, it probably for the average viewer you wouldn't have noticed it, but on the Bison platform that was running around when he was trying to blow up the ship that was stolen from Hulk Hogan.
The stealth boat that was exploding everything.
Yeah, that was stolen from Thunder in Paradise, the Hulk Hogan show. Basically, it was the old school joypad that was used. That was off an old arcade machine.
Yeah, so he had like a little fight stick.
I was like, oh, that's quite a nice little nod.
He was doing little quarter circles and that.
Oh, I should bring answer. his stick in to show you because it is his Street Fighter.
I was going to say, we
power
don't,
stick
we
is so
don't need to
cool.
see Ant stick on screen. It's
It's not that kind of
no.
podcast.
But
He did make a comment about this movie and the choice of the movie as well, which we have now established was my choice. Was the
to be
fact
fair
that we
though, I
chose-
was going to take that blame. I wasn't going to throw you under the bus.
and I know,
some
and that's
people.
a true friend, unlike some who actually went out of his way to find that information out. Not saying any names.
This is to say who out of all of us picked the movie, by the way.
Yeah, it was.
It was that guy.
It was Sammy. It was Sammy.
It was me who picked it because I just thought, why not? But I did. Anta said I should have done the animated movie instead.
Yeah, that one's
because
better.
yeah.
It's got some like really weird choices when you look back, like how when the credits hit, the the Korn song starts playing immediately. It's very like 2000s, but yeah, I had that on DVD.
Wasn't there some controversy in that one as well? Because there was nudity in the cartoon as well.
You see Chun-Li's boobs, yeah, can't deny.
Oh no!
And what's this film called?
It's
Street
on
Fighter 2, the animated.
Electric Boogaloo. It's on YouTube if you want to watch it.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Because I
nice.
was looking last night. Because I generally thought this movie would be on YouTube because it's not worthy of any anywhere else.
To be fair though, Van Damme would not let it say lose out any royalties.
I didn't recognize any of the studio logos at the start. I don't think when you
yeah, and you're looking for like any like association. And all I saw was just Capcom, and I was like,
yeah.
But
console computers.
But sorry,
did everyone like the Bison dollars part though? At least
I did. Yes, so that made us laugh.
Bison dollars.
It's just such a funny idea, and now it's very dated because he says that they'll be worth 5 English pounds, which is the price he'll set after he kidnaps our queen.
Yes.
Yes.
He was plotting then. One thing I was going to mention about having the old school,
Can I just point out?
No,
I'm a bit worried about Chris and Chris in the chat saying 23 minutes 6 seconds in. If that's correct, we need to watch out for Chris even more than we normally do.
Damn you, Lee.
What does he mean by that?
That's when you see the boobs.
Chun-Li.
Oh, right.
Jesus, Chris.
He's Googled that already.
I just used to watch the whole movie.
Yeah.
That's, to be honest with you, right after the boobs, it's an amazing fight scene between Chun-Li and Vega, because Vega like sneaks into her apartment and then she like fights him, not nude, but like, you know, in a night shirt. But it's awesome. It's a really good fight scene.
Sorry, Paul.
It's fine. It's fine. I'll just kill you later, Langer.
Yes, Paul. What were you trying to say about a part you liked?
No, I was just trying to say about the joystick element as well. How they actually defeated the boat was he used the old Street Fighter fighting style of just button mashing. He just stopped pressing all the buttons. So it's kind of like just a piss take to the old gamers, because Street Fighter was renowned for being button bashing rather than like the more sophisticated beat 'em up like the Tekken game, shall we say?
Yeah, and that's when he does it and then goes game over.
Yes.
I've never played Street Fighter because of this.
Yeah,
because you see all of the button combos and it's like, to do a Hadouken press, and it's like 50 buttons that you're gonna press.
Circle forward punch.
Yeah, we've got Ant went through a phase of being obsessed with playing this to the point where he's actually got a book with like all of the lore, the movements, this, that, and the other. Like he's so good.
If you get me on Street Fighter 4, I can go toe to toe.
Don't tell him that, because the next time you come over, it's the first thing he's gonna do is say that. But he hates playing this game with me, because I am literally just like
mashing it.
I literally have me pad in my hand and just go like that.
That's the way you have to learn when you're a kid, but then eventually you can. I figured it out over time.
Yes. Did anyone because you mentioned the announcements earlier? Did you notice any of the announcements while they were in the the bunker with Bison and stuff? When all the soldiers were getting killed, one of them said it was telling about the healthcare and benefits.
Yeah. There's like little in jokes, isn't there? Yeah.
And then when the base was getting destroyed, it was approximate repair time 6 months. so,
Someone had fun.
Yes.
What do they call it when they add lines in
Yeah.
afterwards? Like ADR, I think. Like someone had
Yeah.
fun when they were editing. They were like, I don't know, can anyone do a Good Morning Vietnam impression for no
We've
reason?
now got like Van Damme's out the picture. We can
Yeah.
now like kind of have a little fun
Try and
in the
fix it.
editing room. Try and fix it.
And then when we do have the old Crocodile Dundee joke as well with Van Damme when he stands against the horde of bad guys and he pulls out his little knife and it was like he's like all looking get cocksure about himself and like they start backing up and you saw him like thinking they're going to be scared of him with his little knife. Paul Dundee would have you, mate, if he got his knife out. But yeah, that joke was so bad and not needed at all at that moment.
I feel like Van Damme would have just said, I need a funny moment.
Yeah.
Let me have this, guys.
I don't even think that was part of the film. I think they just went, right, that's it, no more cocaine for you. And he's like, and his little knife out, and they're all pointing the guns at him. No!
I'll get me shiv out.
But then it comes to the most ridiculous part of the movie, which they had to have, but they could have done it so much better and felt a bit more natural. When Bison comes out to challenge Van Damme, it's like, oh, you and your weapons, you forgetting hand-to-hand combat is the ultimate prize. And so all these soldiers that came to arrest Bison, leave him for Guile to fight. I was like, no, that's not how policing works.
No, but it's very anime.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did like that about Bison because it's not something you see a lot of the time when like he thinks he's dead and everyone's like, you must be pretty happy about this, and he's like, no, I mourn, because he's like he wanted to kill him with his bare hands. It's like
some great lines, like
he
really
does.
great lines.
We haven't even said about the thing he says to Chun-Li.
Yeah, that's what I was on about earlier on, but I didn't want to bring it out too early.
I know, because it's around this time in the movie, isn't it? But yeah, when he's like, when she's talking about our city and our father dying, he's just like, I don't remember.
to you, this was the worst moment. This was the travesty. This was the thing that haunts you at night. To me, it was Tuesday.
So do you think the directors of Endgame were fans of Street Fighter by ripping Thanos' line off to him?
Yeah, I
don't know who you are.
It's that famous, I think, with nerds, to be fair.
Yeah, he did do a lot of research. I was reading about him last night and how he did do a lot of research with dictators and the way that they speak. And I feel like that is such a perfect way to sum up how evil he actually is in just that one line. Like, to me, it was Tuesday.
To be fair, though, his eyes was fucking mesmerizing all the way through the film. Like, anytime he was on it, just, like, I know, as you said, he was very unwell, but anytime he was on the screen, you were just captivated by his eyes. It was almost like hypnotizing you, trying to think, this is a good movie. You will like this movie. But
I feel like I was saying earlier that the actors got on the game. I feel like his scenes as well had the best like camera work and stuff. Like, I feel like everyone was like on the Ray game whenever he was like on set, which is really nice.
Absolutely.
Like, I'm glad it is an excellent like standout performance, because like with it being his last and in like an embarrassing movie, it could have gone really bad, but I don't think anyone's got like a bad word to say about him ever from whatever I've ever heard.
No.
But this is what I was saying earlier, that he's not good because everyone else is terrible. He's just fucking good. Like he is so good. Like, it's an understatement to say that he was poorly. He was fucking terminally ill.
Yeah.
He was like, this is beyond
I think
anything.
it was like weeks away as well. Like, he only lasted a few more weeks after this wrap.
Like, it's beyond anything of comprehension, and he still manages to move the way that he does and work. He's
in like he's in a fake, like he's in a bodysuit as well, so that can't have been easy.
No,
it's just this is a testament to him as an individual.
No, definitely. And again, I know it's going to sound a weird thing. Were you surprised this movie didn't get a sequel?
It
kind of,
didn't it?
No.
Street Fighter, The Legend of Chun-Li or something like that?
Oh, no, that was nothing to do with this one, though.
That's another reboot, I think.
Yeah, no. Is that with Oh God, there was a name attached to it. No.
From
Oh,
Smallville,
him.
Lana Lang.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who played Chun-Li.
Yes,
I don't think that
no, I
had
don't think
anything to do with this movie, to be fair.
It
I'm
seemed
kind
like
of shocked.
They did try to get Van Damme back for it,
Did they?
surprisingly.
From what I was watching yesterday, because I watched the honest trailers of this movie to get an idea before I watched it, and that did come on afterwards. But it shocks me that it didn't because of video games and toys alone. Like, regardless of how this goes ahead and how we look at it and stuff like that, toys and video games are still going to sell.
Yeah.
Therefore, these will sell in a way. So I'm kind of shocked that it didn't.
I tell you what the problem is with Street Fighter though. Once you go past Street Fighter 2, like once you go like past M. Bison, even though they do tease that he's still alive after the credits. But like once you go past that, like nobody gives a crap about like Street Fighter Alpha or like Third Strike.
Yeah.
Like 4, you could argue, yes, but it's technically a prequel. Like Capcom had a really hard time going past Street Fighter 2 because you like lose all of the characters that everyone loves, or like, you know, you can't have M. Bison. It's like, oh, who do we have? Like, I don't know, there's Abel or something, or like Uriel or something, like weirdos like that.
But because there was a loads of films around about this time that came out, like that were trying to capitalize on what I would describe as the franchise players. Like everyone was looking for that next big franchise or the next big thing to move out. But a lot of them come out as a single hit movies. If you think of like Masters of the Universe as well, like I know that was a little bit before this. But again, it's taking a simple idea and changing the fundamentals of that idea to the point where the audience kind of get on board with.
Because it's like, it's one of them things, right? It's like, okay, yes, if you want to, like, Guile is an army person, so like, yes, there has to be, like, Bison is a dictator, but like what we want to see is like Guile like dropping out of a helicopter and like throwing sonic booms at like henchmen and them exploding and stuff. Like, we don't want to see just a powered down version of everyone like living the day-to-day, like doing jobs. Like, I don't care. I don't want to know what Chun-Li does for a job other than she's an Interpol agent who fights people. Like, that's all I want to know.
What do you think there's a reason behind making it so real as opposed to actually just, you know, cutting the bullshit and giving them the powers that they actually have in the game?
And how many like stupid like martial arts films that Van Damme has been in? Like how many like things like that?
No Retreat, No Surrender and stuff like that.
Yeah, like how many movies like that could you just rip off and be like, oh, it's like Bloodsport, but people have powers. Like,
yeah,
it kind of like writes itself.
That's why, even though as bad as Mortal Kombat, well, not the new one. The new one was actually really well. I'm not going to start slating Annihilation because I know Jake has a fun spot for it. But as bad as
I know it's stupid though.
As bad as the original was, they stuck to the tournament aspect and made the characters. Like, they weren't exactly what we got. There was enough fan service, and again, the fan service in this was done differently. As Jake said, it was like a powered down version where it just everything felt like it was like a damn squid. The only thing again that kind of got right was M. Bison, but I think it's more to do with, like, say, the guy who was playing M. Bison, because if they got anyone else, I think it would have been, like, say, you wouldn't have got this over the top, like chewing the scenery type of character. It would have been probably downplayed and try to do a bit more scarier rather than the comic-y. Because, like, say, this was very much a comic book villain, and he played it that way, and it worked. That aspect,
and it works so well. Would it have ruined the movie if they did give them powers? Like, because it would completely change everything, and it possibly they could have made it a slight bit better. I don't know.
They could have just made it simpler, though. That's the thing as well. Like, as Jake said before, if we got Vega in a cage, give us the cage fight. We could have seen like Balrog in a boxing ring. We could have seen Zach Reef in a wrestling match. Those aspects you could have had and done in a way where, like, the story doesn't have to be elaborate. Like, this story wasn't complicated, but for what we got, it was too complicated, which is like probably the weirdest thing I'll ever say during this podcast.
Yeah. The costume for Vega though was real.
Yeah, and that guy like looked exactly like Baker
Yeah.
as far as I'm concerned.
I was in that moment. I was like, oh, okay, I see what you're doing here, and then fucking Van Damme ruins the whole shot.
And apparently, the guy who played Ryu or Ryu, as random people shout over the movie. So apparently he is also like a established like martial artist and stuff, and can go. And I think like they had someone on staff who was like training everyone like properly and like taking it seriously, but they just like ran out of time and stuff, and they couldn't get anything together. And like you say, Van Damme was running around having a Taiwanese coke binge, and like they just didn't get anything together. But they tried, which is like the sad thing. And they had some ingredients that would have made it good, but they just couldn't like pull anything together. And it really shows like more than any film I think I've ever seen. It shows all of its like missteps constantly.
I really feel if Van Damme was not a part of this project, it could have. I'm not saying it would have been fucking brilliant, but it could have been something a bit more special.
It would have made more sense, but. The worst thing about it, I know it sounds really weird me saying this because we have slated this film. It's not even the worst computer gaming adaptation of the time that came out, because I think it came out at the same time as Double Dragon, and Double Dragon the movie is fucking
I've
bad.
Never heard of that.
Do not
watch. No, it is so bad it's not even funny.
It's one of those ones where it's like really bad and also like unpleasant to look at. You know, there's that genre of movie where you're like, everyone in this looks gross, and like there is some like quote monster characters, like, you know, sort of so like they're supposed to be I guess gross, but I don't know, it's just like it's a disgusting thing to like, it's unpleasant, like it assaults every sense. It's like
I've never heard of it.
When you watch Clive Barker's Nightbreed, and that's a prettier movie than Double Dragon, that's when it's surprisingly
Anthony hates that I fell asleep during that film.
What I don't understand about this era of time, like you had all of the Hong Kong action from like the 80s and even earlier. Like you had all of the Arnold Schwarzenegger movies of the 80s and like half of the 90s. Like all the work's been done. Like they should have known how to pull this off.
This is why the 80s was better and why it should have won at SunnyCon that year.
Where the fuck did that come from?
Okay, I'll concede officially.
But to be fair though,
if we had Street Fighter in the 80s, like think how good like a Big Trouble Little China style Street Fighter movie would have been.
To be fair though, this is probably what would have been Lee's, and like so disappointing for Lee watching this movie, because he is the 80s action guy. So everything that you see advertised in the Street Fighter movie, it points to an 80s action film, and you think you're going to get an 80s action film, but you don't. It's almost like an 80s political thriller cross between some weird shit that you don't even know what's going on. So I can just imagine in Lee's head when he's watching it, just going, "This is not Demolition Man. This should be better."
It's still weirdly enjoyable though. Like it's so shit. It's good.
Yeah,
it's fun. It's fun to make fun of, as we have found on this podcast.
And I will not apologize for putting this on the list.
It is a very much of a talk. It's nice to actually like. I know it sounds really weird because with the Mario Brothers, that was hard watching, but there was some redeeming features. With
that was like a roller coaster, wasn't it? Where you'd be like, "Oh, this is rubbish," but like it's gonna have a good point in a little bit.
Yeah, but then it'll go back rubbish again, and then oh my god, flying mattresses! Yay!
But then with this, it was kind of like entertained every time Bison was on screen. Every time John Claude was on screen, I was like, I'm scared. I don't feel safe. I want someone to hold me hand, but not in a good way.
Someone get him an acting coach.
Yeah, and then it makes us go back to thinking, I want to watch the Stallone Judge Dredd again, just so I can experience action in the wrong way.
In the best way.
Why? Like, if any of you guys were in the middle of some like terrorist organization fight thing, would you think, oh, I better put my boxing gloves on? This'll help us fight these guys with guns.
I generally I must have checked out at some point because I didn't realize he put them on. So I just thought he had them on the whole time, and I was like, "Wow, come prepared."
That would have
Yeah.
been a funny running
Doesn't
joke
fit.
if he was doing stuff with boxing gloves the whole time.
Yeah, and not take them off.
And why was
I've
E
got-
Honda Hawaiian instead of Japanese?
Yeah, that really, really confuses because I was looking at my T-shirt and I'm like,
Yeah,
"Who's that guy?"
yeah,
And that guy is
It's like
E Honda, isn't it?
yeah.
yeah. They
Yeah.
were like, you're a fat guy. You can be a sumo. Okay.
I need to drop some facts in as well, which
Oh, okay.
like, you guys, you might know them. People in the chat might know. I don't know how common knowledge it is, but M. Bison, it's such a cool name. And if you think of the name M. Bison, you think of this evil dictator from Street Fighter. But obviously, the reason he's called M. Bison is because they swapped names around from the Japanese version.
Yeah.
And he was originally called Vega, was it?
He's Vega, yeah, Vega.
And
Sama.
Balrog was Mike Bison.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
That
Oh,
would
dear.
have made that. Imagine that in this movie, man. That would have been even weirder than it already is. Mike Bison running around fighting terrorists.
Biting people's ears off and stuff.
He was
Nom, nom, nom.
Tyson was very popular across the world in the 90s, and he made his image made it into a lot of things.
But they changed it because they didn't want. They thought it might cause some kind of like lawsuit
Yeah.
or something like that. And Mike Tyson didn't even know anything about it until recently. Someone told him, and he was like, "Oh wow, that's amazing." So eventually, they could have left it in.
I know,
Yeah.
but Mike Tyson now is a very different Mike Tyson from
Yeah.
back in the day.
He is meant to be a big gamer though, Tyson.
Well, he was
Really?
in Mike Tyson's Punch Out, so
Yeah.
he does have a video game appearance. But yeah, this is why in the fighting game community, you pretty much have to call it a dictator, claw, and boxer because if you, when you're going between like Japanese players and English players and stuff like that, everyone's just had to pick a name and stick to it. But yeah, it makes more sense when you swap them all back.
So Lee, if you were
I
going
don't know what a Vega is.
with you being like you say the quintessential action guy, like say like almost like Futurama's, hey, I'm an 80s guy, you can be, hey, I'm an action guy. What would you change to make this movie better? Or how would you make it better for Lee, shall we say?
They need more martial arts actors, and like better choreography.
Mhm.
So like, just better fights, better fight scenes.
Mhm.
Any fights would have been good. For
Right.
most of
Yeah,
them.
Imagine-
the fight scene.
I rave on about these guys, this film, but The Raid,
Mhm.
that film, fights like that,
Mhm.
but put in a Street Fighter, like fast paced,
Mhm.
intense, on the edge of your
Mhm.
seat.
And I'll tell you
where-
what, the raid has a hierarchy of boss characters that he has to fight through, and it's like
Yes,
it's doing
exactly.
everything right.
I don't know what you're talking about, so that's okay.
The Raid, it's an action movie. It's really good.
Don't look
good.
at me with eyes of you haven't seen
Oh,
this.
No,
you know
No,
what?
I'm sorry.
You've seen
us
Dread.
four, if us four could get together and watch like the two Raid movies with beers, that would be like the best.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
have you seen the new Dread movie with Carl Urban?
Yeah. uh-huh.
It's basically
Well,
yeah.
that's ripped off The Raid
Yeah.
and made it like an American.
Oh, I really
shoot 'em up
like that
film.
one as well.
Yeah.
Then the Raid 2 is nothing like that, and
No.
it goes some places, and it's very impressive and cool.
Chris has put
Interesting.
Chris is on a roll tonight. He says more
Yeah.
greased up men with mullets.
Yeah.
Oh, Chris has been on
Make
fire.
it proper. Do you know what? If you just take Van Damme out of the whole equation, and it will make this movie at least 20% better than what it was,
So
because he is an awful character.
So if we get to 2,000 subscribers, we're going to get 12 Van Damme movies for Sammy to watch and review.
Thing is that there
Oh,
are better ones though. That's the thing.
Yes.
Better
I've
ones where he
gone-
doesn't go like in the
I've
middle.
gone, oh Jesus Christ! I've gone nearly 41 years, and this is the first one I've ever seen. Please don't make me
Cool.
do it.
Let's try and think of good Van Damme movies. Universal
Time Cop.
Soldier. Time Cop's not a good
Bloodsport
movie.
is good.
Bloodsport's
Bloodsport is
good,
good.
Bloodsport. Yeah.
Kickboxer.
Which one was where you had a twin? Was it double
Oh.
double impact?
Yes, that's brilliant. It's shit, but it's great.
Wasn't he meant to be a predator or in Predator, or was it Alien?
Yeah,
One of
He was Predator.
He was the original Predator.
Yeah.
That was where he got loose
Really
after that, and then they found him for this movie in the jungle.
He's still thinking he's invisible because he's in the invisible boat. Didn't work.
Or Expendables 2 as well, the best of the Expendables movies.
I don't mind the Expendables, actually.
He's in it, but I don't know if you could say.
I liked it. I like the Expendables 1 because Stone Cold was quite fun in that. But
And I just like anything with Stallone in, so I really enjoy them. I think they're really fun. Well, that's it. You've got such an action movie, and you have no famous action stars in it. Like, imagine if like the likes of Stallone or Arnie or
they all
someone of
passed on this
that.
movie. That's the thing. They probably did get like saw the script and went, "No, we cannot do this to my career."
Well, Arnie must have been like 10 times the price of Van Damme at this stage, I would imagine, to try and hire.
Try and
Yeah,
let's
it would
play
have been worth it just for the cocaine. Yeah, that's like use.
Let's play the casting. Who would Arnie play in Street Fighter though, other than Bison?
I mean, he could be Guile because it's like Dutch.
Guile.
Like you could just play him like Dutch.
Yeah.
Right? He wouldn't have the movement. There wouldn't be no somersault kicks from.
Maybe not.
I mean, there was
the thing is though, like
Van Damme.
no, Van Damme, he just does like a side spin kick thing. He doesn't do like a full on flash kick, like a backflip. That's what we all wanted to see.
Yeah,
and it would have been perfect. He was flying right towards him. Just get Van Damme and do a backflip, unless he can't do one.
I don't understand why you wouldn't have Ken and Ryu as your main.
Yeah.
I don't get that. I can't get my head around that they would just, you take them out of the story. There's no difference. It doesn't make any difference if they're there or not.
It's the end
maybe to make it a bit more realistic, like have the army guy invading the terrorist base instead of the two karate guys.
Yeah. Like all these like chuckleheads infiltrated a giant like army organization. It's like, did you just running around in the locker rooms and stuff, getting up to trouble?
I wonder if there's a cut.
No one's shooting you,
because you know how they say there's different versions of movies out there where people have edited and changed and stuff. Like I know there's a different version of Batman Forever. There's supposed to be a longer version, like the Schumacher cut,
a fan cut, a fan cut, or do you mean like deleted scenes added back in?
Possibly like deleted scenes where Ken and Ryu had like a bigger role or bigger presence, because it seemed like they wanted to be something a bit special in this, but they did
didn't. Like I do have to give it to them. They did upwards of 2 signature moves, but it was like right at the start. Like Ryu does the hurricane kick thing, and then they both do the overhead like throw like move, and it's like, okay, somebody saw 2 seconds of the game, and that was what you saw
used.
Yeah, I got thrown away.
Then Cammy does a head scissors as well.
An extended version of this movie. What scenes do you think they've looked at and went, no, this isn't good. Let's not put it in this movie.
This one gets to say, but this one has to leave.
It depends who's doing the editing. Like, see, if Van Damme locked himself in the room with the editing suite with like a shit ton of cocaine, and went, I'm going to make the movie all about me. It could have been the Ryu and like Ken movie. Like it could have been, but Van Damme's just like got the director and the editor by the short and curly saying, nope, it's got to be about me. I'm in this movie. And is this one of the first movies we get Van Damme in that he doesn't do the splits?
I think so. He doesn't do, like I say, he does like 1 or 2 cool moves, and that's about all you get. But like I'm guessing, I think like some of the actors in this him mostly just phoned it in, really.
Yeah.
Like it was probably an easy paycheck for him. And then you had him just surrounded by professionals like Raul Julia and Ming-Na Wen, and it's like how could you like do that? I don't know. I hope I just hope someone kicked his ass at some point while he was on this.
It would have been nice to know that yeah, because he just looked like he was even in the film itself, you could tell there's a presence about him, and it's not a good one. It's not leadership at all. There was one moment in this film that really caught us off and thought, what the fuck, was when he was talking to Cammy through a monitor.
Yeah.
And he picks the monitor up off the ground and he starts, where's she getting this monitor from? Where's her? Because she didn't have anything attached to her arm or anything. So how the fuck are them two communicating with each other? And I'm like, now see, this is just getting ridiculous now.
Also, Cammy is supposed to be British as well. Like that's like one of the only British Street Fighter characters. So they swapped a lot of nationalities for some reason in this.
Just to make it fit.
I've actually wrote down what he says on that monitor because it made us laugh. She was asking, she said, "Oh, how are you?" I went, "I'm only half dead. I want to make him Bison. He's all dead." I was like,
"Oh, was that when he pretended he basically lay on a morgue table for way longer than he had to, and waited for Chun-Li to walk up to him before he did the whole like jump scare?
Like,
why would he lay there for that long?"
For stuff, for reasons, but yeah,
I just feel like he had more control of this film than he needed to.
Sammy's waters are rumbling.
and now all he does is advertise Miller Lite. So
does he?
So who won, really?
who came out on top there? But yes. So
and Blanca doesn't do anything. Damn it! You get all that build up, and then he doesn't do anything.
No,
you can't mutate someone and then just have it be like nothing.
He didn't even Hulk smash or anything.
No.
Nah, he chokes.
That's what I was expecting.
He chokes Van Damme for like a second before he realizes that he's Charlie.
But then Van Damme recognizes him straight. I was like, "I'm sorry, you've recognized him through what reasons?" It's good. Yeah. Hey, Charlie, it's me.
They were the best friends. We just didn't see any of it.
I'm sorry, I don't recognize Lee when he goes green. This is just like saying that I don't say Lee anymore. I say angry lumber from the
angry green Bob Ross.
So what you're saying is, if Lee attacked you, then neither of you would break through to the other one to like find the humanity,
breaking through to the other side. Yes. So bear in mind,
I would stop Lee as a monster.
monster Lee. So bear
I'd
in mind,
Dr. Dalsim.
Yoga.
So bear in mind that the dodgy stick rating is 4.6 out of 10.
That's not getting that.
So with our Nerdy Up North rating out of 5, Lee, what are you giving it out of 5?
No points.
Oh, no, I'm sorry, but I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. That's a very high rating. Like, it's a shit film, but I feel like I could go and watch this right now.
Are you on Van Damme's cocaine budget right now? Are you?
What did that green paint do to you?
It's terrible, but there's not many films that I feel like I could watch and then immediately put it back on again. Okay. And
this is not one of them, Lee.
I feel like it's just a fun, stupid film.
Do we need to have interventions in, Lee? Please stop the self harm now, Lee. We do love you. Lee. We love you as a person.
Take the DVD off.
Lee, go and watch Predator after this. God damn it!
Cleanse your palate, Lee. Bring yourself back to where you were.
The power of Van Damme.
I feel like I am being generous. I'm going to drop it down.
No, Lee.
Live drop. That's the first.
It's because I would have given it a 3.5, but I would not allowed to do points, so I had to round it up.
No. Jason, no.
So 4, going 4 then.
Okay, Sammy.
Yeah? Wow. Can't give it a 0, can you?
We don't know. Actually, it's unprecedented.
No, because there is, Raul Julius deserves something because of how incredible he was in this movie. He's the only 5-star man. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's the only thing that kept us going. So I'm gonna give it a 1.
Right.
And that's the 1 is for him.
So you've heard it first. Sammy's giving it a 1. The first 1-star rating that has ever been given on Nerdy Up North.
Yeah.
Even Orgasmo and the Munsters got a higher rating than Street Fighter.
Yeah,
that's on record.
I wasn't involved in that.
My hands are clean. North history.
Yes. What about you, Jake?
I'm gonna give it the same rating I gave it on my written review of this movie that I did probably like 10 years ago, which is $1 Bison out of Dr. Dalsim.
Well done.
Because it almost doesn't, like Sammy says, it doesn't really deserve a serious rating. But yes, 1 star for Raul Julia.
Yeah.
He could almost have 5 stars if there was a cut of this movie that was just Bison.
him. Yeah, just him alone. I would have given 5 stars that way.
Yeah, you could reframe it as like an acting, like a masterclass, like a bad guy masterclass, couldn't you? And just
You
make
could.
a documentary.
Chris is shocked in the chat. Chris is that 1 star has been given now. He is actually saying he's going to write a strongly worded letter to none, like the PR.
I'll post my review.
You do know that would just come to me, Chris.
Send it to Goodwill. He'll deal with it. But yeah,
Send it to Michael. He's not here.
I'm going to be a little bit more generous. I'm not going to go over 1 because I don't think it deserves a 1. I'm going to give it a 2. Just 1 for, as you said, Jarl Rudess as in Bison, phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
The costumes, I think the costumes were like the person who actually designed the look and aesthetic of the film actually did take notice and did try.
So they're a little off-brand, but like in their version of off-brand, so that it fits like their aesthetic, which I guess is fine.
Yes, it's almost like say how I'm getting excited about Deadpool and Wolverine because they're giving Hugh Jackman the yellow Wolverine outfit.
Yeah,
I get I'm looking forward to seeing that. So that aspect again, the thing. So I couldn't give it a 1. I think I'd be very like mean on, because as I said, I enjoyed it as a kid. And I probably enjoyed it more as a kid than an adult now, as I've grown up and realised what a decent film is, and not just things that's moving around in front of me on screen. But yeah,
you gotta save that 1 star for something that really deserves it, though. There'll be something one day.
That's when we review The Hobbit, but that's on another time.
Oh God, I hate The Hobbit so much.
Oh, sorry.
I love the book, though.
Do you know what, though? The funny thing is, I'm not the biggest fan of The Hobbit either.
Because it's a bad movie. They're bad
really
3 movies.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about the trilogy. I'm just talking about Chris's life story, but that's another thing.
Right. Oh, okay.
I'm just thinking what I would rate The Hobbit, and it's less than what I just rated Street Fighter.
Wow.
To be fair, though,
agreement on that.
There's no Raul Julia in The Hobbit to make it better. It's just all bad all the way down.
Are we just wanting to make Chris's head explode tonight with all these comments? Because we're really like aiming it all at Chris.
That's fair.
No, it's still a fun movie. I don't often enjoy true stories, but it was a very good one.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
To be fair, though,
while there, I was like, what?
to be fair, though, Lee has been known now as the most generous marker of the Nun faction.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to get him on a few films to see.
We'll make him dark-sided one day. Like some movie will just like cut right to his core.
We'll make that fringe move to the other side.
Oh, just
Maguire.
Oh, he's gonna start dancing like he does in Spider-Man 3. So.
Yeah.
You dare come on one day with eyeliner. That's it. You'll be turned off.
Black suit Lee.
Oh yeah,
Spider Lee. Yeah, it works.
So is there anything that we haven't mentioned that you want to mention about what is the Street Fighter?
Just thank you for watching it and doing it. And
I'm going to be honest, I only watched about half an hour because I've seen this so much before. This week I was like, I think, where did I turn it off? Before, I think just after he fakes his death. I didn't get to him sitting back up. I basically turned it off around there.
That's enough.
Yeah, he died in my version of the movie.
That was the best version. The best version.
I think I started doing my food shopping around that time.
Yeah, it's a low point. The only thing I want to mention is another legendary sort of overacted line for M. Bison is when like someone says something and he just spins around and goes, "Of course." I can't remember what they're talking about. Just something like that.
It's very Gomez of him though, because Gomez was like that.
But yeah,
So
if you can
I
get a clip of
appreciated
that,
it.
that's a good one. Might have to get that for the Twitch.
Mm.
Oh,
And
Gomez
game
on
over as well.
Game over. Yes. The face-off we needed and we never got. Arnie versus Scarl Judas. That would have been quite amusing.
That would have been great.
So yes, so anyone who's stuck with us in the chat or who will watch this back, I do apologise. To be fair, our review is better than the movie, so
yeah,
you'll probably get more from us than actually watching the movie.
I hope no one did a watch along because they didn't deserve that.
No.
No. And this is probably the closest we've came to shitting on a movie as well, so we've done it nicely.
It really, do you know what it really is? Because even with Orgasmo, we were like, can't shit on it. Got to bring the positives out. Just the positives. We haven't done. But the thing is, though, with this one, you couldn't. You have to be honest.
Yeah.
Like you've got to give an honest review, and you don't have to be like totally disrespectful of everything. We were very respectful with the parts that we really liked. It's just there's a few things that we didn't like.
Yeah, and like I say,
sorry.
I was just going to say, I know a lot about this movie. It's a very interesting thing to read about because it's such a train wreck. And I love Street Fighter, but it's still disappointing.
I love the bits that you're not supposed to like according to people, like where it's just too shit. It's like at least
there is some joy.
It's creating them, yeah. It's making a memory rather than just something being so mediocre that you don't remember it.
You're right. This is one of those good bad movies that you could make like a Mystery Science episode about.
Yeah.
It's not like one of the boring bad movies where it's just like there's nothing to work with.
Oh, Chris has just said it perfectly. Podcast 3.0. Some things can just be shit.
I'm not rebooting again. It's been a year since we rebooted as well, so funny enough. But yes, when we got better. Just to say as well, like I say, I know this has been, like I say, quite an interesting episode, so I've really enjoyed it, and thank you guys for being on it. I know it's been a tough week for a lot of people, so thank you for everyone that's been there and been a part of it. We have got some exciting things coming up this week as well. So just before we get on to the big news and see Sammy go all smiley, Jake, have you got anything planned for this week?
We are jumping into some beat 'em ups on the Nerdy Up North Twitch this week. So I don't know what's going to show up. We've already done a bit of Streets of Rage in the past, so maybe it'll be Final Fight and all that good stuff, which is another Capcom game that crosses over with Street Fighter. Synergy. But yeah, we're going to try and jump into some beat 'em ups and it'll be fun.
Cool. What about you, Lee? Have you got anything planned for this week?
Well, I'm hoping that me and Bex are going to have another stream this week, but it just depends on if we can get Lara up early enough so she goes to bed early enough.
Oh, that's amazing. Me and Anth really thoroughly enjoyed your last stream together. It was so funny.
And will Bex be wearing a bikini this time? She promised it last time.
We'll see.
It was the least wholesome stream I've seen in a while.
The thing is, when you see couples streams, you'll watch Jake and Nat, and it's absolutely one of the cutest, sweetest things you'd ever see.
Lovely.
And then you just get Lee and Bex just filth, just absolute filth, and I'm here for both.
The chat was the worst, I think.
Possibly
on my wholesome streams, you do get perfect posture sometimes. Shows up.
We might get taken down.
Cammy, everyone. It's in context.
It's in context, yes. But yes, Sammy, do you want to tell us what's happening tomorrow?
Oh, tomorrow. If you haven't already seen on our socials, it's the interview of all interviews. Me and Dan from Monsters Up North got to sit down and have a lovely little chat with Newcastle's very own Neil Marshall.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't know who Neil Marshall is, he is the director, editor, writer, producer behind Dog Soldiers, The Descent, and Doomsday, the Triple D, along with many, many more that we get into on the podcast. So yes, that's tomorrow on YouTube at our new time. Remember, new time of 8 o'clock. Sorry, my cat's doing backflips behind
Whoa.
us, and it's really putting us off.
Simba!
Cool moves.
Have moments like that with them too. Yes, 8 o'clock on Monday, and the audio will be available on Tuesday, along with everyone else's audio for every episode that went out last week. They will be all available on Tuesday from anywhere you get your podcast from.
Cool.
Thanks for yawning through that, Lee. I really
Sorry.
appreciate it.
Sorry, I wasn't.
It's because he doesn't have an audio podcast coming out.
Yeah, that's it. I'm
Oh.
just jealous.
To be fair, we'll just make the Lee hour where does Lee gives his opinions on anything.
Well, I'm really looking forward to tomorrow night. The Descent is one of the scariest films that I've seen.
I was gonna say, as someone who doesn't describe themselves as a horror fans, like The Descent and Dog Soldiers are really cool movies that even if you're not a horror fan, are still interesting in their own way.
Good
just to listen,
old school.
Just to listen to,
Good old school British movies. That's what I would say.
Yeah.
British
And
cinema at its best.
even if you're not a horror fan, just to listen to him talk about the industry, how he got into it, and the people that he's worked with, it's just such a good chat to have, to get that information as well, because we're all from the northeast of England, dreams and all that, and he kind of made that a reality. So it's a really interesting chat. How do we do it?
Good will be there with
Please,
these
Mr. Marshall.
notepad and with these little binders in, like how do I need a kidnap or anything like that. Just to say as well, the Trekking Boys will be back on Friday. Goodwill and Graham. Hopefully Graham's got over his 24-hour stream.
Yes, well done.
God, that was
24-hour live stream.
Yes. And if you haven't already donated, check out on Graham's Facebook or check out on the Nerdy Up North Facebook.
I think you can go to synoise.com for fans of the science officer.
Yes, and you can donate there as well. Like say, they're doing it for a great charity, like say St. Benedict's Hospice, I believe it was.
Yeah, yes, it's very, very near and dear to Graham's heart.
Is. And next week we are coming at you Saturday and Sunday, so sorry you will see a few episodes from us. We do. Don't worry, we're not live on Saturday. Sam, she looked nervous there.
I really did. I was like, what am I? Because I got confused what when my recording schedule is this week.
So we we are recording midweek with Katie.
That's fine. Sorry, I didn't mean to break the illusion there. I just kind of like got confused.
Just Sammy's face.
The illusion, damn it.
She's like, what have I agreed to? I didn't agree to Saturday. What's happened? But yes, because I know we were meant to have Katie on before. But unfortunately, like things happened, so we are doing a recording episode on midweek. So we will be talking about the Who Did What Now podcast and like celebrate her a little bit because she has broken into the top 10 Apple podcasts downloaded, which is just unbelievable.
About dreams,
and she is starting her UK stand-up tour as well. So we'll get all that information. And normally, I think she mentioned that she wanted to talk about weird superhero origins, so that'll be interesting.
Oh, thank you. Sorry, Sarah Peaches kindly put in the in the chat the link for the GoFundMe. Sorry to interrupt you there.
No, it's fine. The only thing as well, next Sunday I believe we're doing Knives Out.
That's a good job you said because I didn't know.
Yes. I think we've got the siblings with us as well. We've got Joe and Sonia.
Oh, it's a Joe and Sonia episode.
Oh, Joe and Joe's sister.
Joe and Joe's
sister.
Knives Out, the Daniel Craig, like...
The whodunit,
I can't believe we've had a murder.
So we're talking about accents. And if you're talking about fucking casts, the cast of that film, I'm not going to go, is absolutely unreal.
Talk about Street Fighter and Jamie Lee Curtis. She did an amazing cosplay as Vega one year for Halloween. It was fucking incredible.
That woman is. She goes to all the fighting game tournaments in disguise so that nobody bum rushes her with questions.
Vega was one of them. She managed to walk around the whole convention floor being completely unscathed because of her Vega mask that she wore.
That's how you know she's a fan. A real fan.
I love her.
Yes. So
yeah, she'll put Lee's Blanca costume on.
So yes. So anyone who's...
I love how Lee looks all serious when you did this.
Get Dr. Dalsum in here.
So yes. So thank you everyone who's taken part. Thank you everyone who's part of like the Nerdy Up North. What we are doing.
Take the photo down.
It's still,
Please,
into our
no,
souls.
swap it over to me, Paul. Swap it to my side a second. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Come and join us every week on YouTube. There is so much content to see, and all the audio for that content is on the Tuesday.
Oh God.
Also, if you don't want to miss an episode, please remember to hit the notification button.
Yes, and just remember that is Lee's sex face as well. That's what happens when he gets excited. He's never an angry man. Oh, Lee, I fucking love you. You bastard.
The hilarious part is he does this. He sends it out and then expects nothing to happen with it. What is wrong with you, Lee?
I don't think of the consequences of things, though.
You mustn't!
He does it for the love of the craft.
He does it for the lols.
He is the ultimate nerd. He is the nerd Varna. He is the
He
one
is
true
Daddy Discord
nerd.
himself.
He's a professional cosplayer, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
As we have Boyle, who is the one true Boyle in the Brooklyn Nine-Nine, we have the one true nerd that is the Lee. The Lee's new title is no more Daddy Discord. It is no more Hobo Lee.
I know I haven't been called Hobo Lee this week.
Yes.
First time.
There's a reason, Lee. Look at it. You're fucking green again. You are green, man.
You are our Charlie from the Always Sunny Cat.
Lee. Charlie.
Right. So same back time, same back channel.
Stay nerdy, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Token.
Token.